1,000 years before the Phantom Menace, the Galactic Republic was created. Before its creation, the leading galactic government was the Old Republic. The Old Republic obviously was not called the Old Republic back when it existed. It was also called the Galactic Republic back then, but that version of the Galactic Republic is colloquially known and referred to as the Old Republic. So, when the Old Republic became the new Galactic Republic, the office of Supreme Chancellor was vacant. As we know, the Supreme Chancellor is the elected leader of the Republic, who rules the government from the planet Coruscant. Each Supreme Chancellor can serve up to 2 terms, and each term consists of 4 years. So, in total, a person can serve up to 8 years as the Supreme Chancellor. The first person to fill that position was Tarsus Valorum, the ancestor of Finis Valorum. Not much is currently known about Tarsus, other than that he was from Coruscant and was a member of the House of Valorum. The next known Chancellor of the Republic after Tarsus was the human Lina So, a prominent character in the High Republic era of the Galactic Republic. She served as Supreme Chancellor 200 years before the events of the Phantom Menace, and was instrumental in expanding the borders of the Galactic Republic. The High Republic era was one of prosperity, and Lina So's policies and focuses as the Supreme Chancellor was the main reason for that, with more planets being brought into the Republic from beyond the core worlds, which in turn helped bolster the Republic. She was a firm believer in unity, and had coined the phrase, "We are all the Republic." Other ideas that could be attributed to her were Starlight Beacon and the Republic Fair, which were both creations that were part of her outreach program to the Outer Rim, again, to help bring in more planets to the Republic. Lina also owned 2 pet Targons, who were extremely loyal to her and protected her from threats, which is kinda badass. About 100 years later, the next known Chancellor was a person named Chancellor Bian, first mentioned in the novel Catalyst, written by James Luceno. All that is known about Chancellor Bian is that they created the Bancor Refuge on Coruscant, a piece of land that was given to the Bancor species so that they could have a place to live, where they did live for many, many years, at least until the Empire eventually took over and kicked them out. After Chancellor Bian, the next known Chancellor was a man named Skor Kalpana. He was Chancellor about 12 years before the Phantom Menace. According to then Senator at the time, Sheev Palpatine, Skor Kalpana was a good man but lacked backbone. Sheev had said this to Dooku, who at the time was a Jedi, shortly after Dooku had made an address to the Senate, which included Skor Kalpana. Palpatine had actually been a member of Skor Kalpana's political party, and future Chancellor Finis Valorum had been Kalpana's administrator. After Kalpana, a Togruta woman named Karamis Kaj served as the Chancellor. She was a well-liked Chancellor who had a good working relationship with the Jedi. She served about 10 years before the Phantom Menace, and in the year 40 BBY, she ended her first term as Chancellor and did not seek re-election, instead choosing to go into the arts. Basically, to sum up her personality, here's a quote from the book Master and Apprentice, which reads, "Her light touch and congenial demeanor made her popular among both senators and the public at large. The easygoing nature that made the Togrutan Chancellor so well liked also made her, quite possibly, the least power-hungry individual ever to occupy the office. Instead of running for re-election, she'd announced that next year she'd return to Sealy and found an academy for the arts." So yeah, she was pretty cool. Now, there's actually a bit of a discrepancy, I believe, regarding the timeline. Karamis Kaj's last year of her chancellorship was in 40 BBY, 8 years before the Phantom Menace, meaning that she would have been elected in 44 BBY, based on the length of a single term. Karamis Kaj was featured in the book Master and Apprentice, which also takes place in 40 BBY. The reference book, called The Star Wars Book, states that Dooku left the Jedi Order to become the Count of his home planet Sereno in 42 BBY. This would have been during Kaj's term as Chancellor. However, in the audiobook Dooku Jedi Lost, Dooku leaves the Order sometime a little bit after addressing the Senate, where Skor Kalpana is depicted as the Chancellor. This would conflict with what we know about Karamis Kaj's chancellorship, which was during that same year, so we have a discrepancy here. If Dooku left the Order in 42 BBY, it would have been during Karamis Kaj's chancellorship. However, we know that can't be true because of what is depicted in the audiobook Dooku Jedi Lost, where Skor Kalpana was the Chancellor instead. So, the simple fix that I propose is to bump the date of Dooku's exiting of the Jedi Order to 44 BBY instead, to when Kalpana was the Chancellor. 44 BBY would be the year that Kalpana would have left the office of Supreme Chancellor, and that Karamis Kaj would have been elected in. So, to now go over the dates, Skor Kalpana served his first term as Supreme Chancellor in 48 to 44 BBY, and then Karamis Kaj would have served from 44 BBY to 40 BBY. After Karamis Kaj, Skor Kalpana had served another 4 years according to the book Tarkin, where it was said that Skor Kalpana had been the Chancellor before Finis Valorum. Finis Valorum was the next Chancellor, and we know him as the Chancellor who had been removed from office in the Phantom Menace, due to a vote of no confidence in the year 32 BBY. This vote of no confidence cut his term short, and Sheev Palpatine was elected in his place. Sheev then went on to manipulate the term parameters and the rules so that he could remain the Chancellor a full decade later. And then, of course, the Clone Wars broke out, which led to the fall of the Republic and the dissolution of the position of Supreme Chancellor. The Republic wouldn't be reformed until 4 ABY, when the Alliance to Restore the Republic defeated the Empire and then successfully restored the Republic by creating the New Republic, where Mon Mothma served as the first Chancellor.